All right. Welcome on in, guys. Welcome. Okay, my mic. Sometimes when I bump it, it just has a mind of its own. But welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to yet another TapDaddyBeats stream. I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday. All right, but yes, today we got a busy day ahead of us. The goal for today's stream is I'm gonna try to mix down 3 tracks, mixed and mastered and all ready to ship, basically. As you guys might be able to tell from the title, starting next week I'm gonna be trying to publish 30 beats in 30 days. So this is kind of part of that goal. You know, I got like so many beats on the backlog, and dude, I'm getting like every single week I'm getting more and more beats on my backlog that I want to get out. You know, it's doing me no good just sitting on my hard drive, so I need to get it all out to the world, you know. So I've got 3 beats picked out in store for today, and I think I've got some really fun ones that I think you guys are gonna enjoy. We're gonna be trying to do like light mixes, you know, just light mixes in and out, just one and done, you know. Try it. We got a lot of beats to get out, so yeah, let's just dive into it. You know, let's get our hands dirty and let's put the kibosh on this. But you know, actually, before I do, TapDaddy on Spotify. If you guys are trying to find my music, this is where you can find it. Definitely check out the new album, The Low Key Plan. It's an awesome album. I love this album. Anyways, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. All right, full screen, Ableton. Let's give our first listen through this track. Those of you guys that were hanging out with us last Saturday might even recognize this. Little bit of a plug and B sort of track that I never produced plug, but I think you guys might enjoy this. It's kind of a fusion of kind of the jazzy stuff that I do and some, you know, kind of pluggy trap sort of vibes, you know. So let's just listen to it. I remember this mix was already in a pretty good spot, so we'll see how much work we really have to do. But without further ado, let's hear it. So already I'm kind of like, I might be kind of spacing things a little bit. I like how most of this is gain staged though. And it looks like we really didn't do like a ton of, we did some gain staging, yeah. Just balancing things. All right. Yeah, this is in a good spot. I like this. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I would call this like a trap slash plug beat. I don't know. Something kind of in that vein, right? This is fun though. This is fun. You see, this is also a big reason why I want to be putting out 30 beats in 30 days, because I feel like lately I've been really well, really, it's just like now that I'm like got audience on Spotify, I feel like it's a lot of pressure, right? I feel like I've been, and I've limited myself to releasing only once every 2 weeks, right? I make so much more music than that, but you kind of need to give time for music to sit with people, for stuff to get momentum. So that's what I've been doing. I've been dropping once every 2 weeks on Spotify. And I feel like what has happened is I've got a big stash of like what I consider to be like the best gold that I have on deck. But there's like so much more music that is like really good that's just on my hard drive that I just don't know when I would actually put it out. So I'm going to try to get a lot of this up on my BeatStars and, up on YouTube at the very least. Just going to try to drop a bunch of type beats, honestly, and expand my catalog for artists, So let's kind of start getting going here. I like how this is kind of gain staged already. There was some stuff that I might want to kind of space out, but I kind of like how this is bumping. We might try to get that kick a little bit higher. I might even, just last minute production details, I might give myself like a little riser right here. Yeah, something like that. All right, yeah, before we get into the mixing, let's give ourselves one last little riser here. And I think I know just the riser. I want something very subtle. There's one that I sometimes use, just, I don't know, it was like from some stem in a somatics kit, but I like the sound of this riser. Let's warping and we're gonna have to actually cut some of this. All right. And we will cut on the other side, and then let's like really line this up tight. And this is going to be the last production detail that goes on this song. We're just literally, it just needs a little bit of riser to help introduce the track, right? Whoa, where's it at? Oh shit, I lined it up in the wrong spot. That's okay. Where are we? Yeah, it's gotta go over here. Yeah, let's make that even more subtle. Okay, now all these elements that are being introduced, I want them to kind of come in very widely spaced from each other, that would be really cool. Kind of really give everything its own like lane, right? So what do we got here? First of all, what is our chords? We were playing around with expressive chords when we made this with Ableton Lives. Yeah, this is our chords up here. Let's go ahead and just name that Rhodes chords so we remember. Rhodes chords. Oh, and also before we get any farther in this, we're going to do a save as. I like to do this just at the start of every mix that I do. We'll just call it Mix V1. That way, we always got the original to go back to, right? So, all right. But yeah, man, like I said, though, I don't think I want to get like too crazy with this mix. I think I want to kind of like, I don't know, if I was to describe mixes as like more dry or more wet, I think that this is a mix that I want to lean a little bit more dry, not really looking to do a bunch of fancy stuff. I want to like get this, keep this pretty true to demo is really, I guess, kind of what I'm thinking of. Of course, really, the question is how loud we're going to be able to get this in the master. And, I don't think that this track needs to be like super loud. We'll see how it behaves, you know? But at the very least, I want to get it up to -10 lufs. I think it'll hit nice around -10 lufs. So, all right, spinning beach ball of death. Let's wait for that to do its thing. All right. There we go. All right, what's going on now? Why do we not have our expressive chords suddenly? That's weird. What the hell happened? I was just looking at expressive chords, and now it's not in there. What the hell's happening here? Yeah, expressive chords. Here, I'm going to load the original file. Because, you know, we did like a little tiny bit of work there before we did our save as, but okay. See, okay. That was so weird. Why did we not have expressive chords, or I don't know. I'm probably gonna go look back in the VOD and realize I did something stupid like delete them, or I don't know. All right. No, now let's try this again. Let's do a save as. Save live set as, and then we're gonna call this one mix v 1.1 is what we're gonna call it. Okay. Okay, now we did that. Okay, crisis averted, guys. All right. Let's get our riser back in there. That was the only thing that we added. Riser. And yeah, it's going to be this guy. Unwarp that. Let's just cut around it. We're going to say somewhere over here. But we got to get it lined up. Yeah, we really got to get this tight. Yeah. Right. I want to, you know, just like we had it, we'll make this riser a lot more subtle. All right, now let's get into it, you know? Like I was saying, for all these like different layers that we have coming in here, I want them to kind of all come in their own like spatial lane, you know? So let's see, we got our chords here. I'm just gonna rename these Rhodes chords so that we know that those are our chords, and we got everything else. Like these are our 808s. May as well start naming now. I'm gonna need to anyways when I bounce the stems, right? And we've got, so Okay, and then we got this brighter detail. Okay. So, you know, something that I kind of think of is I want to put these in different ears, but I'm not going to try to like do it like perfectly even in the left ear versus the right ear. What I like to think of when I'm spacing things out is this idea of sort of a balancing scale, right? And I like to give these melodies and these sounds kind of arbitrary weights to them, right? So, you know, if we're trying to balance something that has a heavy sound and a light sound, you know, well, it's going to be kind of off balance, like if this is our fulcrum, right? So to balance a heavy sound versus a light sound, I shift it over a little bit, and ooh, now that balances very nicely, right? So in this case, I would say that the darker note is kind of the heavier sound, and this brighter melody down here is our lighter sound, right? So I'll probably put this a little bit further on the outside. I'm thinking we'll put this guy like maybe like 16 right. We'll put this guy like 8 to the left maybe. Yeah. Let's put this guy, like, let's sneak this guy like really far off. Woo! Now, do we want that? Like, I think we do want that one to really creep up in, like, you know, a really outside lane. But, you know, something to think about is when you throw something so far to the left, the further you put it in your left ear, the more you're going to hear it in your left ear, the louder it's going to be in your left ear, right? So sometimes when I'm really like spacing things super far out, I like to actually set it back quite a bit just with the gain, with the volume of it, you know? So like... See, but now our left ear is starting to feel a little bit heavy. Okay. This guy that's 16 to the right is going to go a little bit further to the right. Okay. And then this guy, this synth lead melody is going to be center right. Maybe that is going to go center left. I don't know. See, this is where we just feel it out, you know? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I like to mix from the beginning forward, basically. And I kind of I feel like a big reason why is because I'm like trying to you know, work from the perspective of the listener as we are moving through the track. So as things are getting introduced to us, I think that's kind of like the perspective that I really like to have. I am going to try this very far off left one, maybe very far off right. We're just trying to balance this in 1,000 different ways to see what just feels right, you know? So, nah, because it's got to be counter to this guy. There we go. What's up, Aiden? How you doing, man? He says, do you know about Judy Collins? No, I don't. Who is Judy Collins? All right. And, you know, if we are ever just like in need of one more element to counter, you know, something to slide a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, what we can do is we can use the hi-hats as kind of a balancing tool as well. So, you know, if it just feels better with the hi-hat slightly right, like that might be the answer. But I don't know. I think I'm kind of vibing with this balance. I'm going to turn this guy down a little bit. Woo. Damn. But yeah, Aiden says she made the song both ways now. You've probably heard it at some point in your life. She's won a Grammy. Fair enough. Yeah, it doesn't come to my mind, but you're probably right that I probably have heard it. But yeah, why do you mention Judy Collins? Are we making a Judy Collins type beat? Let's see. I'm gonna turn my volume up now, kind of listen to it a little bit louder. Starting to realize like maybe the snare is a little bit harsh. It's not the worst. There's just like a tiny dash of harshness in the like 2 to 3K hertz range. And I kind of want to put an extra layer of compression on just this snare. So let's pinpoint the pain point for this snare. I think it's this point right here is what kind of feels like the pain point to me. So now what I'm going to do is, yeah, it's about 2K hertz. I'm going to just put a little bell here. We're going to tighten up this bell. And just a little nudge, just a little bell curve to help smooth that snare out. This sounds so much better at high volumes now. I don't know, that snare was just kind of biting into my ears a little bit. Woo. But yeah, I see Aiden says, anyway, I'm getting the opportunity to be in the backstage at one of her concerts. Oh, that's sick, to see what her audio engineer does. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. So you're probably going to be seeing basically how the sound guy like runs all of the audio in there. Dude, that's like, look, I don't know, I guess one big piece of advice I would give to any artist, just in general, like, you know, there's so many things that need to be done in music, right? So many things that need to be done for your own music, right? Like, I don't know, like mixing it like we're doing today. But even stuff like at shows, you know, you need somebody to that knows how to like balance live music levels, right? And like if you can gain some of these skills, not only does that help you network with other artists, not only does that help you make connections with like venues and stuff like that, but it's also a good way to find jobs in music that can kind of help support your career, you know? I feel like this is entirely why I mix for other artists, is because, first of all, it helps me stay sharp at my craft of mix engineering, but it also helps fund what I do, you know? I don't know, man. I would just say, like, yeah, definitely pay attention to what that audio engineer does, because, you know, if you decide one day that you want to learn to become a sound guy, it could be a stable paycheck for you and a good networking opportunity, you know? I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. But that's cool, man. That's cool. Okay, this bell in our right ear is a little bit loud. This guy. We're gonna just set him down a little bit. Okay, now I feel like we have kind of removed some of the bite from the snare. It needs a little bit more thwappiness to it. I want to try something. We're going to pull out our FET compressor, our 1176, and we're going to put it on just the snare. Okay, so now it's come down in volume, but, you know, we're going to regain stage of the snare after we compress it, basically. Now, I typically like to just click over to this drum bus. It just gives it like all attack, no release. I might even push this a little bit further these ways. But let's start compressing this. Ooh, you can already tell this is already going to start snapping a little bit better. Woo! Aiden's like, my main goal as a musician is to be a hit maker. Dude, I respect that, man. I respect that so much. Nah, same, man. You know how you become a hit maker, though? You make 1,000 songs, okay? Like, dude, the secret of like all of the hit makers that you might know is that you are hearing the 1 or 2 songs that they wrote that just happened to be gold, right? You don't hear all of the thousands upon thousands of songs that they write that don't make it to the spotlight or whatever, you know. But point is, every single time you sit down to make a song, you are refining your skills. You are learning, you know, what makes a hit, right? I feel like, you know, I think of that quote about, like, who was it, Thomas Edison or whoever, that made the light bulb and like tried it like hundreds of times and failed, and he was like, well, you know, this wasn't completely unproductive because while I didn't make a light bulb, I learned 100 ways not to make a light bulb, right? I feel like that applies to like music 100%, right? But also, you know, having a huge catalog to show artists, you know, is super advantageous, because you don't know what is really going to be the hit. You can build an intuition for it over years, right? Over like, ooh, this was kind of a success, and I kind of understand the context as to why, you know. But you see, I feel like it really is kind of it's kind of both worlds, where it's like it could be you as a producer or a songwriter, it could be you as an artist, you know, bringing this into the limelight, or it could be that you just wrote a song, you got it in the right hands of the right person, and they made it a hit. At the end of the day, it almost doesn't matter. As a songwriter, you're gonna get paid well, you know, which honestly, yeah, like songwriters actually really run the industry, man. You'll learn that for sure. But I don't know, man. Point is, biggest advice, if your main goal as a musician is be a hit maker, make thousand songs. Just never stop. Like, your output should just be insane. You'll get so good at it. This is why I'm dropping 30 beats in 30 days as well. Because first of all, I want to grow my catalog, you know, but also I want to stay sharp, you know. I want to stay super sharp. So I want to go through the entire process of making all these beats, mixing all these beats, mastering all these beats, and publishing all of these beats. And then I'm going to shop them by a bunch of rappers. And hopefully people go like, yes, like, damn, Tap's got new catalog, you know. All right. Let's tune in this snare. But yeah, Aiden says, oh yeah, I know that. Everyone knows that. But damn, where's your 1,000 beats, man? We're on song 991 right here. That's where my 1,000 is. I'm telling you, man, you should do it. Just get the output up, and you would be so surprised what it'll do for you. Nah, I say this to encourage you, man. I say this to encourage you, genuinely. Okay. We almost might be pushing the snare a little bit too hard. Let's boop, 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 and let's actually compress a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, Aiden says, I've made at least 200 songs. That's good, man. That's actually really good. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, you should definitely just build that catalog, man. I don't know. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah, he says, but I really need to get connected with more artists. I hear you, man. I mean, all of us do, you know? But yeah, I feel like the biggest way that I've gotten connected with artists is just by doing more music for myself. And in doing so, I have more stuff to talk about with artists and, you know, more stuff to show artists, honestly. And it's like, for example, every time I post a type beat on my channel, like, yeah, dude, type beats do not get nearly as many views as they used to, but it's still like, you only need one view to sell a beat, right? You only need one view for somebody to decide that they like it and that they want to hit you up, right? So it's like, I don't know, man, the more darts you throw at the dartboard, the more artists you will meet along the way, you know? But it kind of depends, you know, what you're trying to do, how you're trying to do it. It's ideal if you have like a live scene that you can hang out in, you know, but that's not realistic for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And quite honestly, it's so easy to connect with people online that I've almost kind of like decided like I'm just focused on online right now, you know? I'll sometimes go to shows to like meet people and network with people, but I honestly kind of prefer just like staying locked in my studio and just making things happen from my desk here, you know? It's kind of nice. kind of getting that kick up there. Dude. And, you know, I think one thing that I also want to do here is I want to give a slight boost to the low end right down here about. Maybe tighten this a bit. Woo! Okay. But yeah, Aiden says a friend of mine is going to college in Miami, and that seems like a pretty good opportunity to get connected with artists, especially since that's where a lot of the big ones live. Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, honestly, I would say if you are trying to look to go to like music school, what they really don't tell you about it beforehand is that really the biggest value of going to college for music is the networking, like the network of opportunities that the college itself provides, right? So I've got a homie that got a doctorate's degree in concert trombone. And and I think he got it from like UCLA. He was living out in LA, and through UCLA's like network, he was able to find a lot of gigging opportunities, right? So he's like playing trombone, like concert trombone in pretty high-end events, you know? And he's also a mix engineer. So like, you know, he kind of gets gigs, you know, like his college will help, you know, him find new clients and stuff like that. But yeah, he told me like the biggest two things that he took away from getting a doctorate's degree in concert trombone was the network that the college provides in terms of opportunities, and also the people that he met while he was at college there. So it's like, you know, he told me like the biggest pieces of advice that he would give to anybody going into, you know, music school is, first of all, find your tribe, you know, find people that you can be creative with, that, you know, you share similar goals with. And then secondly, to absolutely take advantage of every single opportunity that your college can provide for you. So, you know, and then in doing so, you know, if you're in an area where there's an abundance of opportunities for music and whatnot, like, yeah, that's why like UCLA is like a great music school, right? So I don't know. I don't know, things to think about, man. It's kind of the practical application of like going to school for music. But then again, I never went to school for music. And I'm doing I'm doing a lot despite that, right? All right, we're gonna bring everything down a little bit. How much? At least 2 decibels. We're probably gonna bring it down more like 7, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why not? All right. So yeah, I would encourage you guys to maybe turn your volume up a little bit. We just stepped down the whole project to just kind of give ourselves some more headroom. I might even bring these drums down like maybe 1 decibel now that we just did all that work. Yeah, this is a vibe. What do we got going on our 808s? Nothing. Wow. I'm just curious. What if we did a little bit of a LA2A, just kind of squeeze this 808 a little bit. Oh wait, was that? Yeah, here we go. All right, let's see kind of where we're at here. Now, we do got a lot of sub here. Sometimes I like to give it a little boost there, but sometimes there's stuff in the mid-range that actually helps it feel very bot-like, lively, very full. Let's just sweep around. Now, I think really it might be that we just give a subtle boost down here, and it's kind of a wide range, right? We've got these 808s are kind of spaced out, like, you know, you see? So I think we want to put a pretty big bell somewhere in the middle. And we could tighten that a little bit, but... And you guys will notice I did an additive EQ after the compressor. I don't know, we're just kind of squeezing it, and then after the fact we like kind of bring it up a little bit more, just make it a little bit extra. Okay. Let's check out the EQ on this, these Rhodes chords. Nice. I'm kind of curious. I want to just try something here, and we'll just A/B test it to see if we're really doing good work or not. Bottom resonant. We're kind of emphasizing the range that this instrument really serves, right? Okay, so we're kind of A/B testing it right here just to, you know, see if what we did there really makes sense. Yeah, I feel like it's feeling a little bit more full, a little bit more focused in that mid-low range. Let's focus on this section. Okay, so I see we got these flutes kind of leaned to the right a little bit. Let's maybe set these like super far from each other. This guy might come in a little bit. Woo. All right. I'm kind of trying to emphasize like the high, like just like a little bit above this kick. Mostly so that it sits a little bit better on top of this 808. Okay. Whew. All right. I think we're about ready to start mastering, but I'm kind of thinking maybe with these flutes we might do a little bit of compression, just squeeze them a little bit. Might be that, I don't know. I'm not sure if I like those details like so far right. What if we did keep these center? It's almost time for my favorite part, where we really, lather this up on the master. I am curious, what if we carried this guy over just to this area? Nah. And we got quite a bit of headroom here too. That's good. Dude, that sounds so good. I'm really vibing with this beat, man. All right. Now, let's actually get this back up to volume. I know it's kind of quiet right now. But we're about to change that. Let's start with the Shadow Hill Master Compressor. And let's start bringing this up, We're going to compress it a decent amount, I think. Enable sidechain. Let's get on that optical threshold. Squeeze it a bit. I am kind of curious to play around with a little bit of saturation on here, but I really don't want to overdo it. I feel like every time I do start playing around with distortion on my master, it goes out of hand. But let's try it. I don't know. What if we did put just like a tiny bit of decapitator on here? I want to try around, like try this, and if this doesn't work, maybe I got something else up my sleeve. This does kind of excite it. I kind of like it, you know, like just a little bit of decapitator on the master. I don't know. That feels like it's kind of coloring it a little bit. Ooh, I like it. I'm keeping it. All right, now let's really start bringing it up to volume. Let's get a max. Let's get a max peak value, and then let's see kind of where we're at. I'm also just gonna pull out our meter to see just how far, and I know we're gonna have a lot farther to go, but whatever. Actually, we're not as terribly off as I was thinking. So the goal is at least minus 10 LUFS, but I think we could get it maybe a little higher than that. And we're paying attention to our max peak value over here because we're gonna try to raise the volume of this to be close to 0 before we throw it into our maximizer. So, and that's gonna get it snugly up to the ceiling, you know, but oh, and you know what? I just remembered there's one more thing that I want to just fix real quick. We don't like these straight fade outs. We want a nice curvy fade out. But yeah, it looks like our max peak is minus 4.6. So look, I think I'm going to increase it by 4 decibels, let's say. Let's just do this real quick. Let's say 4 decibels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, getting up there. And then let's fix that fade out, that curve. We want it to give it a nice curve. So, and really the reason being is I just feel like this is a fuller sounding fade out. So like really what I'm trying to do here is we're gonna put this up at -1. Then we're gonna double it to -3. And then -6. And then we're just going to let it go. You know, that's, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more full fading out like that. All right, so let's Let's try to find like maybe where, I think the loudest part of this is going to be like somewhere over here. Yeah. All right, so we're going to pull out Ozone. We really just want to use its maximizer, and we might use its EQ as well. We'll see. But let's let it listen, do its thing. We'll probably adjust all of it anyways, but may as well. All right, let's see what it does. A little volume warning. This might jump up in volume, just letting you guys know. So yikes. Woo. All right, let's get our true peak up to 0. Yikes. Okay, so I really did, and I do kind of like EQs that look like that, really kind of brighten it up. Not a huge fan of how much it took out of the 808s, but see, and this is just like quite a clippy nightmare with. Look, I think we're gonna turn that off. I'll tell you guys a little secret. Sometimes when I'm having trouble with this maximizer, I'll limit it before the maximizer. So, like, let's do this. And I'm going to put this into mono/stereo routing. So it'll kind of limit the mono lane from the stereo lane separately, which is kind of advantageous. We're going to put the ceiling up. Let's increase the gain a bit. Okay, let's. Let's get our EQ in before this. Trying to figure out where I want to lift at. We're just kind of trying to give it a little bit of a brighter bias. See, we want to emphasize a little bit in this mid-range, like just below 1,000. Trying to not really capture that snare too much in the harsh range, but oh, dude, this is sounding sick. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually not sure if we're going to use anything in Ozone. We might just be rocking with this limiter. Now, let's, where did I had a, I thought I had a meter. Did I not have my meter on the right? Oh, I put the meter on the wrong. I was like, what is, okay. That makes sense. All right, Let's pull this meter up. So yeah, we could really push this a lot farther, I think. Maybe we will use a little bit of this maximizer as well. I don't know though, I'm still getting a little bit of that, like a little clippiness out of this. This is sounding a lot better. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to slap on another limiter after this maximizer. Hey, J-Dub, how you doing, man? Welcome on in, dude. You caught me put it on the finishing touches on this track. We're going to do 2 more today as well. We're just finishing up this nice, like, I don't know what you would call this beat. It's kind of trap, a little bit pluggish, you know. So, we want to just keep nudging this, basically, until we hit our goal of, like, 10. Minus 10 LUFS is kind of what we're aiming for here. Chilling, sounds fire. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, okay. We're pretty much there. We'll see. Let's run it from the beginning. Let's see what our LUFS value is. We might need to push it a little bit more, but yeah, let's just run it. Let's see where we're at here. All right, we're trying to look at our target, at our LUFS, make sure that it's above 10, basically. Might be kind of a reach. Oh, we're so might even just accept at like minus 10.5. How much do you think LUFS matter compared to just making it loud using your ears? Sometimes if I push for a number, it becomes distorted. So I would say maybe rather than having just like a number that you're trying to go for, I recommend having a range that your discography typically lands in. And the reason is because in projects, as people are listening to your music, what you really want to avoid is like one track being super loud compared to the next track, and then like, you know, like it's kind of like a quality assurance thing that like people aren't gonna be like, where'd the music go on the next track, right? People aren't gonna be like, wow, this is so much quieter that I've got to turn this up, or you know. And this is also a big reason, like, I don't know, have you ever had, I don't know, maybe a song on your playlist that eventually you just take off your playlist because you're like, God, this song is just so quiet compared to everything else on the playlist. Like, I'm tired of adjusting my volume, you know? So that's really why. But I think you're absolutely right. Like, sometimes you can just absolutely destroy your good work by trying to hit a mark, right? And that's why I recommend ranges over, hard marks sometimes, you know. But, you know, the range for this track, and really for my discography as a whole, what I'm trying to stay within is somewhere between minus 10 and minus 8 LUFS. This track's just like a little bit more on the softer side, and I'm definitely reining it in a little bit under what my mark is, but I'm letting it, you know. Minus 10.2 LUFS. I think that sounds good, you know. It's going to sit right at home with my other beats, but it is kind of a softer track, and I'm not running it as hard as I do my other beats, so things to think about. It's a good question, man. Anyways, guys, I think we hit it. You know. Let's save this. God damn. And we got 2 more we're trying to hit today. So we'll load up our next project here. I think I'm going to go grab a little bit more coffee before we start this next one. I'm just going to run this on a loop. You guys can enjoy our hard work here. But yeah, I'm just going to run to the microwave to heat up some coffee. So I'll be like 2 seconds, but I will be right back. let's pause this and let's go. Let's go start our next project. But yeah, mix sounds super clean. Love the snare. Thank you, man. I'll tell you a little secret about that snare. Really, it's this FET compressor, this 1176, that is really making it sound super tight. I love this on trap snares, man. I don't know. This is the secret sauce. But anyways, let's see. We got, looks like the next one I'm trying to do is song 987. Let's grab that. Save again for good measure. Oh, yep. You see there was something to save. All right. And 987, I believe. So yeah, this one should be kind of fun, kind of in a similar vein to the one we just did, but it's a little bit more boom bap ish, but yeah, that's some sauce. Yeah, no, definitely, man. I love those universal audio compressors. The 1176 and the LA2A are my two most used compressors. Yeah. He says, would you use that on a kick too? Yeah, I would. The thing is, so really, what I had going on in that last track was I had some compression in a return track down here, and I was sending a portion of what I was doing to this return track that also had an 1176 in there, but I was only sending about 50% of the drums to it. So I was doing parallel compression, basically, where we have a compressed version of the drums and a uncompressed version of the drums, and we're blending those two sounds together, basically. The one thing that I would just say to look out for is sometimes the FET can really flatten your kicks if you overly compress on there, But on the other hand, if you overly compress on the snare, it makes the snare sound super snappy. So I feel like in that one, I was kind of doing the best of both worlds, trying to hit the best of both worlds, but I don't know. You just got to kind of play with it and use your best judgment, because it will flatten your kick if you're not careful. But anyways, let's hear this next track, and let's see how far we have to go on this one. All right. Yeah, J-Dove says, followed on Insta. Damn, you knew DJ Grumble? Oh, yeah, dude, DJ Grumble is dope. Love that dude. Yeah, he says he is so dope, man. Super producer goals for real. Yeah, no, dude, Grumble is really sick. I've loved his music for a long time. I actually met him on Reddit, of all places, and we ended up chatting for quite a while. Grumble's awesome. But yeah, he says your mixes sound great. I really appreciate the advice. Of course, man. Of course. I'm glad you're here, man. Honestly, it's a lot more fun to make, to mix in front of you guys with, helps keep me company, but all right. So you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like in a similar vein to the last one, All right. Let's kind of see where we're at with our max peak. We're at positive 2.5, maybe. We might want to bring our volume down a little bit. In fact, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to give ourselves some headspace, right? And we're going to pretty much just give ourselves room to bring stuff up, So I appreciate you, man. Let's bring this down by Let's say like 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should give us like plenty of headroom. All right, and also I might even readjust like the volume of my mic so you guys can turn your volume up comfortably. Let me see. Test, 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 test. Okay, I think am I very quiet now? Very, very quiet. Very, very. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. Are you on Windows or Mac? I know, weird question. No, it's a valid question. It says, but that USB mic you're able to use with ASIO on stream. Really, what I got going on is I've got this software called Loopback, where I'm running all of my audio through. Yeah, this. And it's super nice. I can pipe audio from anything to anything. So, I don't know. But I am on Mac. But hey, Mars, how's it going, dude? How you doing? It's good to see you, man. How's your day going? But yeah, Loopback, super, super useful software. I can just pipe any audio to anywhere. It's awesome. All right, this track is super quiet now. I encourage everybody to maybe turn your volume up a little bit. We're going to just dive into this. All right, we got to move fast on this one, so let's just get in with it. I'm going to bring these chords down here. Let's see, where are my 808s? Here they are. Just kind of rearranging the layout of this. Ooh, I liked, let's bring this up a little bit. Where are those strings at? These guys. But yeah, Mars says doing good. Glad to hear it, man. So yeah, all of this stuff is going to go on my BeatStars over the course of the next 30 days. I'm excited to hopefully hear some bars on this, you know? I feel like this track is just screaming for bars. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Let's think spatially. You know, a lot of this is focused in the center, but I don't want to really change it too much. I'm liking where this is at. I like the width on this guy, and I might want to accentuate the width a little bit with micro shift from Sound Toys. So like, let's slap this on here. Air, this is the preset that I was looking for. Ooh. But yeah, Mars says, I like that new rhythm plugin in the new update. Pretty sick. Oh, rhythm plugin. I'm curious. I assume you're talking about 12.2, right? The two that I've been really, I don't know, everybody seems to be talking about is expressive keys or expressive chords, and also their new auto filter. I don't know. Is there another rhythm one though? Because if there is, I want to know. I want to dive into it. You know. I don't know. I've been really impressed with Ableton's updates. He says yes. Oh, I gotta look into that then, man. I'm still getting used to the new 12.2. It's lovely, man. This was the first beat that I made in 12.2, by the way. I was just playing around with expressive chords. Damn, I gotta look into it, man. Okay, now that we've widened up these chords, I think that they're a little bit loud. We're gonna bring them down a bit. Okay, this fairy bell is like nice in the right ear. Let's put it a little bit more right. Woo! Hell yeah. J-Dub's like, this beat is nice as fuck. I appreciate that. Yeah, the saxophone especially, man. I love, in a lot of my tracks, what I like to do is I'll sample one thing that brings a live element to it, right? Something that just like, I don't know, I feel like if you have something that has a little bit of authenticity to it, it really brings the track to life. And he's asking, where'd you get that sax? Do you play it? No, I wish, man. Someday I will. It's just like a splice sax lick. I don't know. I collect, little sax licks from anywhere that I can get permissions to, and I stash it away in my DAW and kind of sprinkle it in wherever it makes sense to, All right. We might be able to bring these drums up a bit. Ooh, maybe actually, let's just do the kick. Woo! God damn. There's another update? What? Oh shit, you're right. 12.2.1 is downloading? What? Nah, it's probably a patch, It's probably some patch that they, Mars, good eye, man. I didn't even notice that. By the way, why am I out of full screen mode? I'll put us back in full screen. Let's also slap the curvy fade out on there. All right. Also, shout out to everybody who's dropped a like on this stream. I just noticed it was like, it shot up. I was like, damn. Nah, I really appreciate you guys. Let's see. I'm trying to keep this kind of, true to demo and just, but yeah, it's for Novation launch key. Okay, so nothing for me, but, nah, that's dope. Just brought that bell up a little bit. We're gonna put this a little bit to the left. This string. Whoo. God damn, this is such a vibe. If you guys had to call this a type beat, what would you call it? Like, which artist? I don't know. What genre even? Because I'm really not sure, but this is going to be dropping on my BeatStars in like a matter of days. I just don't know. So, crowdsourcing. this can kind of come down a little bit. There we go. Lo-fi type beat, slow jazz / R&B. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's a little, I kind of get the lo-fi influence, but I don't know. I would say that, you know, the drums are kind of break-ish. It's kind of breakbeat-ish, but it's definitely not a breakbeat. Yeah. Hey, J-Dub's like, damn, we should work. Hit me up, man. I'm always looking for work. I am like, so if you guys don't know, I'm a mix engineer, I'm a producer, and I'm also an instrumental artist. And just in general, you guys can like hire me for anything. And aside from that, sometimes I do collab with people, but it's very rare. It's very rare that I do, but sometimes I do. Like, I've actually got a collab coming out tonight with my friend's beta host, which I really, really cannot wait to show you guys what we made. Beta host is an incredibly talented instrumental duo, and I've known them for a few years now, but we finally collabed on a beat, and oh man, it's dropping on Spotify tonight. It's called Don't Sweat It, and it's like, dude, this super East Coast like hip hop track from these people. Like, they make such good, I would call it like very like a combination between lounge jazz and lo-fi. But we ended up collabing on something that was just like so crazy good, like hip hop, very jazzy, very soulful kind of stuff. I don't know, it's good stuff, but. Nujabe's type beat. Oh, yes. Yes, man. I make a lot of Nujabe's type beats. In fact, I've been ranking under the Nujabe's type beat keyword on BeatStars. Like, I don't know. It kind of switches around every so often. But point is, if you guys go search Nujabe's type beat on BeatStars, you're likely going to see some of my beats in the top, you know, search results. I don't know if that's still the case, but I like to check every so often, and sometimes it really, like, yeah, I'm up there. But yeah, where am I from? I'm in Colorado. I'm in Colorado, USA, you know, holding it down. I've lived in Colorado my whole life, man. Let's see. There we go. Do you play live music in your town? Not really. Honestly, most of my fans are in like Taiwan and Brazil, actually. Perks of being an instrumental artist is your music can pop anywhere. If you guys are curious who I am outside of stream, this is who I am. TapDaddy on all platforms. If you're trying to find the music, here's a little link to my Spotify. And I just dropped an album like a month ago. It's called The Low Key Plan. It's some pretty cool stuff. So, yeah. I appreciate you, J-Dub. Yeah. But, yeah. I don't know. It's funny. Like, I'm starting to get more of my success in instrumental music just, like, for listening. I started TapDaddyBeats as, you know, a producer, just selling beats to artists and working one-on-one with artists and stuff like that. But since then, I've kind of exploded on Spotify, and you know, had a couple tracks really bring in a lot of audience, like Lady Moon. It's approaching 250,000 streams here. This one really sparked a lot of audience for me in Brazil. Like, Brazil really grabbed onto this track and ran with it. Love that. And then, like, Serendipity is another one that recently popped, and that one especially was really bringing in a huge audience from, like, Taiwan. Which, yo, shout out to all the Taiwanese homies, you know, like, goddamn. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't know. It feels unreal. It feels absolutely stupid, man. But I've been going at this for years, you know. Have you ever heard of dub? Like dub mixes? It kind of sounds familiar, but I really can't put my name on it. Like I can't put a finger to what it is. How would you describe dub mixes? All right, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot more that I want to be doing on this. We might touch up this middle section a little bit more, but I think it's about time to start mastering it. Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Thank you, man. He followed my Spotify. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're trying to dig in, because I've got like hundreds of beats on my Spotify, but I would say a good starting point if you're trying to just like find something to wrap your mind around like what my music sounds like. Yeah, listen to the Low Key Plan. That's my newest album, and it's got a lot of stuff on there. Everything from like, you know, G-funk to bossa nova music, and it's just kind of like all of my styles wrapped into one. But I think you'll really enjoy it. I don't know. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the follow. All right. I have a feeling once we start compressing this track, it's gonna sound awesome, you know? Yeah, you should incorporate some of these styles in your music. I would say it's very psychedelic, tripped out delays, ear candy type stuff, spring reverbs. Oh yeah, yeah. There's I especially like spring reverb on like guitar plucks. I've been using a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. I might have like I hit quite a wide spread in my music. I feel like what most people know me from is like a lot of jazzy hip hop kind of stuff, you know, very intricate jazzy, smoothie, like 90s hip hop kind of stuff. And you know, I make like a decent amount of like chill hop and lo-fi and stuff like that. And yeah, I'd say like the two niches that have really like blown me up is like, you know, this jazzy hip hop stuff that's a little bit more sophisticated, and then a lot of like chill hop stuff, you know, which I just love. I love Nujabes, you know. So let's bust out that Shadow Hills Master compressor. God, I've been yapping. It's good though. I'm having fun just chatting with you guys while I work. Let's see. So we got side chaining on. Gonna start bringing up this optical. Oh yeah. Get a little bit of this discrete in here. Yeah, this compressor is kind of fun. It's kind of two compressors in one. You got an optical compressor and a discrete compressor. And yeah, I would say like this discrete compressor sounds kind of like an FET. It really picks up a lot of the lows though. But yeah, Arturia spring reverb is surprisingly good. I need to dig further into Arturia instruments and plugins and stuff, you know? I really do. All right, let's bring this back. Let's start setting the gain. Whew. Damn, we are like really down there on our volume. All right, we're gonna start bringing the volume up, guys. And just a little volume warning. We're gonna really start bringing this up to volume. So I'm gonna have to start bringing my volume down. Okay, I think we're pretty much up there. So yeah. Definitely bring your volume down if you need to. We're trying to protect our ears here, you know? Let's make sure that we're nice and snug underneath that max peak of 0. Hey, Signature, what's up, dude? It's good to see you, man. How's your day going? Thank you. But yeah, Mars was saying, yeah, it's like a leveler, the discrete compressor. I mean, yeah, I got you. Yeah, and I noticed it's got like by default it's got like a lot of attack and like very little release. Oh, it looks like we jumped up a little bit. fix that. All right, let's set it at 7. And let's just go ahead and bust out Ozone. Run it through the maximizer. We'll let it analyze it and do its thing, but just like last time, we might not even use any of it. We'll see. All right. All right, another volume warning. This might jump up again. Yikes. I don't know. That really destroyed it. This is crazy. This is not necessary. All right, well, let's completely undo everything that it did, and let's bring this into a more reasonable range. But yeah, your earlier comment about rhythmic steps, I need to play around with it, man. I honestly haven't heard of the rhythmic steps, like, I don't know what it brought in to 12.2. That's something I'm gonna have to play around with tonight, I think. All right, I do not like this EQ. This is almost too much. I swear, this doesn't... Like, Ozone's maximizer does not play well with 808s, I think. But yeah, it's pack / sequencer / rhythmic step is its location. Okay. I'll play around with it tonight. Today we're just trying to fly through these mixes, but I'm glad you told me, because, like, I'm trying to get used to using everything that's new in 12.2, you know? Alright. We're going to do kind of like we did in the last one. We're going to bust out a limiter and put this before the maximizer. Let's also start measuring our LUFs. Let's see where we're at. I think this is going to be another one that's going to hit around -10 LUFs. Like what it's doing over here. I just didn't like how much it destroyed our 808. But maybe a little dip could really assist with the overall balance, right? Yeah, that feels good. Oh man. I didn't realize my caddy had hydraulics till this song. Hell yeah, dude. Oh man. Keep bringing this. You see it's starting to clip a little bit. Can't be having that. bit of clipping in there. We gotta reel it in. And then we're gonna bring in another limiter like we did the last one. Counterproductive to turn down 808s or adjust any part of your mix at this point once you have some master processing on? That's a great question, man. So yeah, there's actually a lot of times where I get to the mastering stage and I realize that there's an issue with the mix, right? I feel like your master will reveal a lot about your mix, including like your gain staging. I feel like the moment that my master touches compression, it feels like any mistakes that were made in the gain staging, in the just overall leveling of these instruments gets accentuated, you know? So what I recommend you do in an instant like that, where you hit your master and you're like, this is just not working. Like, what the hell, I suggest that you take your master chain off, you go back into the mix with the perspective that you got from, your master, and you go make adjustments. If you need to turn your 808 down, turn it down, all that stuff. What I do recommend, though, is make sure that you turn your master chain off because, things like limiters and compressors is definitely going to influence, like, by how much you might be turning that bass up or down, right? I think that sometimes, here's a mistake that I used to make when I was, like, way back when trying to learn about mastering is I would decide, like, oh, I need, like, more bass, and then I would start turning my bass up, but then, I was just feeding it into the limiter and not realizing that I was undoing all of the work that I was doing with my mixing, right? So just a little warning, you could totally destroy your mix if you, are trying to mix with like a bunch of compression and limiters and all that stuff turned on your master. You might be completely overshooting how much you need to be turning something up or down, right? So yeah. And I see Mars saying, yeah, you can always do slight volume touches to get the sub sounding right. Exactly. And there's a lot of times where I might even find myself putting limiters on individual instruments to help them play more nicely with the track. So like, for example, if the 808 is like going way too loud and I've, like for example, maybe if there's like one part of the track where my drums get a max peak volume of positive 2 dB and I'm like, damn, I could, now I've got to turn my drums down by 2 dB, or I could, regain all that space if I just trimmed that one area that it has a max peak, that is so much higher. Like my track as a whole could come up 2 dB if the drums just didn't jump up in this one area, right? That's a good time where you might bust out a limiter just to shave the top of that and, allow for your track to be a little bit louder in the master, right? I don't know, so many different like scenarios, but it's a learning process, man. And I'm still learning. I feel like when it comes to the whole process of, of producing, mixing, and mastering, I would say out of all three of those categories, I am still a student when it comes to mastering, especially. I feel like I'm kind of novice here. I'm still kind of, getting my mastering legs, so. All right, let's see kind of roughly where we're at. We're getting closer to our target goal. I will accept minus 10.5. In fact, let's run this back all the way, and let's see where we're at. Yeah, kicks are the bigger problem. Sometimes the kicks can be too loud because they're front and center. I feel you on that, yeah. As a boom bap producer, like... sometimes I let it ride a little bit hot on my kick and my snare, right? But what I do is I'll listen loudly to make sure that I'm not like completely, switching out my, like, I'm trying to keep in mind the listener experience for somebody that's going to listen to this loudly, you know? All right, I'm turning my microphone back up, by the way, now that we're back up at full volume. But yeah, J-Dove, he says it's been a pleasure. I will tap in next time. Thank you so much for all the help. Of course, man. Thanks for hanging out, dude. Yeah, and he says, yeah, and keep up the great mixes. I connected on IG. Oh, hell yeah. I'll try to give you a follow back for sure, man. Yeah, thanks for hanging. Hell yeah. In fact, I should do that before I forget. There we go. Hell yeah. Followed you back, man. But yeah, thanks for chilling, dude. Alright, let's see where we're at. Minus 11.9. Damn. We actually got a lot more to go. All right. Let's see. We got a little bit more to go here. God damn, I feel like I'm really pushing this thing through the roof. Let's try that on True Peak. All right. God damn. I don't know. I feel like if I push this any further, I'm gonna like absolutely destroy it, right? All right, minus 11.2. Well, this isn't going on my Spotify, so I might just be happy with minus 11.2. I mean, I don't realistically see myself pushing this further and it sounding any better, you know? Because I feel like if I start pushing it any harder in these limiters, it's gonna just squish, you know? All right. Oh, did we do our save as? We need to do our save as. Look at me. Not doing my save as. That's silly. All right. God, this is such a vibe. Always living on the edge, yeah. I know. We're really pushing this one hard, man. But it's only up to -11. But I think we're gonna leave it here because it sounds good here, you know? You Colorado boys are nuts. Yeah. Oh man. All right. -11.1. Dude, I will absolutely take that. That sounds great. Yeah, man, I know. I can't believe I didn't save earlier. We're not going to make that mistake on this next one. Oh, man. All right. So let's dive into our final one of the day. We got one more that we're trying to hit here. Song 985. I think this one's going to be a little bit more of a boom bap vibe. Yeah. Let's load into this guy. Okay. And let's hear it. I think this is the one that, I don't know if you guys were here for last Saturday. It was the Saturday before that, right? It was the one where I made, where I reviewed this track, this Tempo Key K25. That was a super fun stream. We made a really sick beat with it, and we're about to mix it down. If you guys wanted to see the session with this one, I actually just dropped a beat making video like on Wednesday, where you guys can see me, make the full beat and hear my thoughts on this device. It was a lot of fun, and I'm super appreciative for Sonido sending me one of these. That was really cool. I've also just been having fun cooking up with this little MIDI device in every corner of my apartment. It's been great, But yeah, this is what we made with it, and I think this is gonna be a great beat to put out in my 30 and 30 endeavors. Yeah, Mars was like, yeah, I was there. I saw the video. Oh, hell yeah. Cheers, man. You're already on it. God, I love this track, dude. Jeez, we are quite a ways up there. Damn, this is already sounding really good. And like I said, I'm not trying to get too in depth on these mixes. I'm trying to really get these like in a good spot. And really just ready for beat stars, Trying to maybe not go as meticulous as I do on my Spotify releases. Because, I gotta crank a lot of these out. First and foremost, let's see, what was our, okay, minus 3.97. Let's bring everything down by like 10 decibels. All right, I'm gonna highlight everything in here and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom. There we go. It's crazy. None of this was really that gain stage, but it actually fits together pretty nicely. I will say though, maybe we oops, not swap. I want to just bring this volume down on these hi-hats a little bit. All right, I'm gonna bring my volume up a little bit. I'll turn the volume on my microphone down a little bit for you guys. Let's see. Where's my loop back? There it is. All right. Test. That's a little bit better. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's very chilled, man. Thank you, Signature. Oh. All right. So let's go ahead and give this a nice curvy fade out, just because we know we're gonna want it. Let's see, -1, -3, -6, and we'll let that ride. All right. Also, man, I'm really liking the sound of this sub bass. Something that I've just noticed about sub basses lately is I feel like the more I mess with them, the more I really screw them up, you know? Like, this is just like a buttery smooth bass. We might do a little bit of compression on it, but I don't think I want to do a whole lot more than that. Something that I want to start with is maybe these drums. I am just really curious if we kind of rolled off the highs a little bit on this. I don't know. It's kind of a... I feel like this is one where it really kind of comes down to preference. Now we'll let it, you know, ride on that. I'm gonna see what this sounds like with our 1176 on here. It's a little bit too much, actually. This might be one where the LA works a little bit better. We need a little bit more low end in this kick. Let's see what's going on in the EQ. So really what I'm like kind of listening to here is I'm trying to accentuate a part of this kick that is a little bit above that sub, but a little bit, you know, it's still in the more low end than mid, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to really fit together the nicest. Well, actually, maybe accentuating a little bit of the mid-range might help it kind of bite over that 808. Okay. Damn. I think this one I want to really put in our left ear. And let's turn it down, make it very minuscule. You know, something to think about in your guys' mixes is just like, I feel like to some degree, not in all, walks of, your mix, but to some degree, I feel like your mix can only be as deep as like your quietest instrument. It's so much about contrast. I think that having some details that are meant to be really subtle, really kind of quiet, maybe a little bit more felt than heard, I think that it's details like that that really allow for your mixes to feel like they have a lot of depth to them, So maybe just having that be kind of a little bit quieter, All right. That's perfect. Woo! Yes. Okay. This piano. I want to get a little bit more fullness out of this piano, just like a little bit more body. I'm going to use the LA2A on this guy. But now we need to regain stage it. We need to like bring it down a little bit. But yeah. Mara's saying, agreed, I love putting small sounds in the background. They help the vibe and make it very 3D. Absolutely. That's actually a really good way of putting it. Very 3D. When you like it, you're just like adding dimension to it, when you really contrast, some of your big elements from like the smallest of things, Let's also just look on an EQ here, what's going on. I feel like we might want to bring out a little bit more of these chords. There's a lot of fuzz in the high end there, which is actually not that bad. I just want to like maybe reduce it a little bit. But yeah. Mars says, by the way, thanks, Tab, for getting us away from all that news. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Right? I know. I've just been doom scrolling. Doing some music to, take our minds off things. 100%, man. Oh, yeah. It's crazy, man. I'm just focused on my, on my music. Something lovely though, kind of lighten the mood, you know? Okay. Now this is really what's going to need a little bit of compression. We were kind of a bit sparing with this. Maybe we did actually go pretty hard with the compression here, but we could probably back off on that a bit. Yeah, something like that. Bring it down a little bit more. And we might even bring this guy up a little bit, even though he's supposed to be a little quiet. Whew. All right. Yeah, let's bust out that LA like we were gonna do on this. Zoom in here. I almost thought I heard a wrong note. Yeah, this note. I'm not sure if I agree with this tiny note here. We're gonna probably change it. Bum bum bum. I don't know. Let's try shifting it around a little bit. Bum bum bum. Here we go. Maybe. I don't know, man. Okay. That was the original note right there. Maybe I'm getting way too in my head about this. I'm just not sure. Oh, there we go. We set it up like quite a bit higher you know? Quite a bit higher. No, it just doesn't sound right. I'm like struggling with this one note, man. We might even remove it. I don't know, that just feels a little bit more natural to me. I'll probably change my mind about it. Okay, yeah, I did just change my mind about it. Okay. I think it's sounding good at that note. Let's just keep it. Oh, that's awesome. And we're going to want to do a little bit of compression on this trumpet as well. Just a little bit. Okay, that's helping it feel a little bit more full, but we are going to have to bring it back in the mix now a little bit. There we go. What's up, Ken? How you doing, man? Welcome on in, dude. But yeah, Mars is like, sorry, I was peeling potatoes. I was going to say that 3D sound. Yeah, no, I got you. Hell yeah. You cooking while I cook? That's what's up. Oh, I love that. These little... It's sounding a little bit like it's leaning left. It wants to be left. We want to maybe scoot it even further into the left here. Let's try going like far left. I don't know. Why not? We'll try it. But yeah, anybody ever try a live intro? That's all I could afford. Dude, I cooked for so many years on Ableton Live intro. Like years, man. You could do so much on intro, man. You know, and really the only reason why I upgraded was because intro, I believe, limits you to 16 tracks. And it does, you know, it is missing some of the functionality of like Ableton Standard. But dude, for so many years, intro was enough for me. I just so happened to be like working on a project with an artist, and like they sent me their vocal stems, and I just couldn't fit it all in the track. And that's what ultimately forced me to upgrade to Ableton Live Standard. And then eventually after that, I started doing this like more professionally. I started, selling beats and whatnot. And so I decided to upgrade to, the suite, right? But point is, there were steps along the way, right? I didn't start out the gate with like the full Ableton Live suite. No, I started with Ableton Live intro, and I did a lot of music in intro. So like, I don't know, man. I would say use it until one day you decide maybe Maybe you find a reason to upgrade and maybe it'll be a little bit more justifiable. Because I'm not going to lie, Ableton is quite expensive, right? You should just like cook with whichever version you got, right? So I don't know. That's my rant on Ableton Live intro. I loved it for many years, man. It got me through college, honestly. It was great. All right, we're starting to really lock in here on a good sound. I am just curious about one thing, and I told you guys I didn't want to ruin this sub bass. I didn't want to do too much with it. I'm gonna try something. I'm almost expecting this is gonna be a little bit too much. Let's bust out Little Radiator. And we're going to put just like a smidge of drive on it. Oh, maybe. I want to hear that low note. Okay, I think this actually was a pretty smart choice. It because the sub bass is so subby. There's gonna be a lot of systems that it just is not gonna be really heard. The little tiny dash of distortion on it, it's gonna give it a little bit of something in the mid range to kind of help it be heard on I don't know if I kind of doubt you're going to be able to hear this on phone speakers, but I'm also not going to like push it super hard to accommodate that, It's quite okay if there are sub basses that you're not hearing on your phone speakers. If you care to hear it with fidelity, I'm sure you'll use headphones, right? That's kind of implied, right? Let's also do a little bit of compression after that. And I did hear one thing that we want to clean up here. You see, we had this little stray note. Get out of here. You have been banished. There we go. All right. Hell yeah. Dang. Guy, I'm really in love with this beat. I need to hear bars on this. I really, really need to hear some bars on this. I feel like a rapper could walk for miles on this track, But yeah, everything that I've mixed down today is going to be up on my BeatStars. I'm going to be dropping all these beats over the course of, I think starting next week. 30 days, 30 beats. That's the goal. That is the plan. And dude, I'm so excited to drop so much more music. I don't know. I feel like I've just been working at a collection, at a very rich catalog of beats for years at this point, and I really pride myself sometimes on, like, how much can I really add to that catalog within a given year. I think it's fun because it pushes me as a producer and even as like a mix engineer, and just being able to work at that rate, right? But also it really, really benefits all of the rappers that work with me, because they just have so much more catalog if I'm able to move at that rate, which really helps when people have choice, right? So I can't remember how large my catalog currently is. I know it's over 400 in the published space. Of course, I've been making so many more beats than that. This is song 985. But that's kind of the point of trying to drop 30 beats in 30 days. I'm trying to not have all this stuff sitting on my hard drive, right? So, all right. Let's kind of give this the last impressions before we move on to master. Might even be able to bring these drums back a bit. Actually, I think I might leave that like that. Let's actually pull out an EQ on over after we do the compression. I typically like to do additive EQs after I compress. Just trying to get this kick to somewhat compete with that bass. I would ideally really like that bass to be like right up to that kick. And yeah, you can definitely hear the kick because we boosted a little bit of this mid-range. I think that'll be plenty. Okay. That is sounding so good. And it looks like we got almost 5 decibels of headroom here. That'll be really good for when we start to push this in the compressor, But yeah, I think my chat just updated. I don't know if it was lagging behind. But yeah, is there a Ranger mode machine? I have no idea. Let's see. I wonder how MPC Studio is. Yo, MPC Studio, I used to chop samples in MPC Studio. I don't anymore, really. I just like Ableton's simpler plug, like the stock sampler in Ableton, simpler. I just like that so much more. Love it, man. Love it. So yeah, for that reason, because I've really enjoyed and prioritized Ableton's workflow over MPC's workflow, I've honestly used my MPC mostly as a MIDI controller nowadays. And I think that there's no real issue with that. But anyways, I don't know. That's just like my thoughts on the MPC Studio. You can use the full MPC DAW natively inside of Ableton just as a plugin, basically. If you choose to, but I choose not to. That's just my thoughts on it. Machine, though, man, I kind of want to get a machine someday because that looks like a much more modernized version of an MPC. That's kind of my thoughts on that. But I don't know. I'm glad I bought this MPC, though, however many years ago, because I'm not going to lie. These drum pads are super, super quality, man. Like, I feel like MPC really does drum pads like the best. They just really have been at it for the longest. I love the sensitivity on these pads, So, all right. I think we're about ready, though, to start sending this into the master. Let's just maybe nudge the levels a little bit. Okay. But yeah, machine is the same, great pads. Hell yeah, man. I haven't gotten a chance to really use one yet, so... Might even bring these guys down a little bit more. Yeah, let's make these really subtle. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah. Love how the beat swoons and pulls the rhythm in. Oh, hell yeah, man. These are kind of Dilla-esque, honestly. These hi-hats are definitely like a little bit swung. I love drums that are kind of halfway between a shuffle and a straight note, kind of that Dilla in between sort of space, Dude, that is sounding so good. All right. Let's start the mastering. Okay, so I am going to start off, of course, with the Shadow Hills Master Compressor. Love this thing. All right. Gonna turn sidechain on, definitely. We're gonna just start, adjusting our thresholds. Kind of go from there. We just kind of want to squeeze the track a bit. Okay, now let's bring the gain up. Ooh. I'm liking the gain on the discrete. Oh, lovely. All right. And let's also just get a feel for kind of like where our LUFs are at right now. Again, kind of aiming between -10 and -8 is, I think, ideally where we would like to land. We're definitely going to have to bring this up quite a bit, I think. Let's see where our max peak value is at, because we need to bring that up to close to 0, and then we'll help we'll let the maximizer bring it snugly up to 0 with limiting. Okay. Dude. Nice. We got so much farther to go. But yeah, our max peak was minus 2.7. Let's raise this by 2. And then, all right. And we're going to start getting the volume on this up loud. God, that is so awesome. Really vibing with this track, man. I love it. All right. Oh, and we should probably do our save as. I can't believe I missed that again. Oh my God, save as. And then let's call it Mix V1. All right. There we go. All right. Let's see. Now let's pull out Ozone and all right, it's gonna get loud. Yeah, I know. Shh. It's our secret, Mars. Don't tell no one. Nobody else was here. Tab is obviously an Aerosmith fan. He loves Living on the Edge. You know? You might be onto something there, man. Oh, let's run it over here, and just volume warning for everybody watching. It's going to jump up in volume, okay? So just warning you guys, protect your ears, all that stuff. Let's do it. Yikes. Ooh, this actually feels pretty good. I actually agree with this EQ. This doesn't look terrible, unlike the last two that it tried to spit at me. Let's do a little bit of A/B testing on it, though. Make sure. Now, I think I'm liking that, how that's set. Let's go over to the limiter and let's mess with it. And you know what we could probably do is we could probably pull back on this threshold a little bit more. Actually, no, I don't think we have room to. That's like right at the limit. Okay. So what we're going to do instead then, just to get a little bit more out of this, is we're going to put a limiter after the maximizer and just push it 1 more decibel into the ceiling. Hopefully that might get it there in a pretty clean way. And I'm going to put it into mono/stereo mode in the routing. I just feel like it makes a little bit more sense than the left versus right. The left and right are actually pretty similar, you know? What really helps us out is when it limits the mono lane separately from the stereo lane. Kind of helps, you know? But yeah, there's a sibilance on the hats. The hats do sound a little bit harsh. Yeah, I was just kind of noticing, like, this kind of, with all the compression, it's kind of getting a little bit, there is no ride cymbal in this. But I am hearing a little bit of harshness on these hats. That feels a little bit better. That reverse sound. I don't think I have any reverse sounds. Are you talking about the open hi-hat, maybe? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really hearing what you're hearing, I don't think. But it did draw my attention towards how compressed these hats got, which I'm glad we kind of got that sorted a little bit. Okay, it's good now. All right. All right, let's bring this back to the beginning. Let's see what our LUFS value is. I literally just brought the EQ down a little bit. I did like a shelf on some of those high frequencies. I just kind of brought it down a bit. Oh my god, that's like right on target. Minus 9.9 LUFS. Let's go. That's sick. Let's save it. Jesus, nice. Ugh, guys, we did some good work today. Oh man. So we got 3 beats done today. That's insane. That is good. That is good. 3 beats and it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty satisfied with the work that I did today. Now it just comes down to stemming all of these out, which is the bane of my existence. But I've scheduled out. I don't know if you guys I'm just kind of curious if you guys do this as well. But I basically schedule out a lot of stuff in a Google Calendar, basically. And so I got like a lot of blocks set aside this week for stemming stuff out and also doing further mixes. I'm trying to get 7 done this week, basically. So, because ideally, if I can keep up at a rate of 7 per week, who knows? 30 and 30 might turn into 60 and 60, 60 beats in 60 days. We'll just kind of see how this next 30 days goes. I'm going to be dropping these beats. Starting on, next week. I forget exactly what day I'm starting on. My wife's helping me schedule all these, but yeah, anyways, should be good. I hope that I can continue at a really good rate like this, because I would love to just oh man, I just want to drop all the beats. Man, I want to I want to get so many done. But oh man, Mars, thank you so much, dude. I think we got some good work done today. So anyways, I think that is where I will call it for today. Thank you guys so much for keeping me company while I cooked up. This was a fun stream. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Anyways, I'm going to be live again on Saturday. Doing a live studio session if you guys want to come through. As always, I'm also reviewing everybody's music over on Twitch. Every Wednesday and Friday, I review music for my Twitch subscribers. So if you want to come, come through, showcase some music, please do. I've got links down below. And of course, lastly, if anybody is in need of a mix engineer or a producer, I've got my email listed below. Definitely reach out to me. I believe my BeatStars is also in the description, so definitely check it out. Yeah, and I see Mars says, yeah, don't forget to try rhythmic steps. I'm absolutely going to be messing with that, man. Thank you for letting me know about that, because shit, I was so distracted with expressive chords and the new auto filter, I didn't even notice that they added rhythmic steps. That sounds super fun. So anyways, thank you guys, and I will see y'all next time. Peace out.